I was looking at the app I like to use to find free equipment when I saw the one for this lawnmower. It was actually being given away by a local small engine repair center, which I had no idea they would even bother with. I mean, of all the places that could use parts from other mowers, this would be it, so I was surprised they would give it away. Unfortunately, after looking at it, I think they made the right choice. In today's video, we're going to be looking at this very orange lawnmower. And the problem is that it appears to be seized due to a lack of oil. Now, just as a reminder, most all engines use some kind of oil, which means it would be a good idea to check it once in a while. So in a previous video, someone mentioned that I can just free the engine and then put oil back into it and it should be good. But to be honest, I was planning on taking the engine apart and repairing the parts that had damage to them. So this shortcut was something I was not considering, but since it was a free mower, I decided to go with it. However, the results were less than stellar. So here's a bit of foreshadowing for you, but we better record all the information from these stickers just in case we need to order parts for it. So I have my own opinions about this method of just freeing the engine and continuing to use it, but I want your opinions as well. Now we did put oil in the engine, and of course there's some gasoline in the fuel tank, so I'll start it up and let you hear what it sounds like. So it didn't start, but it would make sense because it probably hasn't ran in a long time. However, when this happens, you might be able to coax it back to life by putting some fuel into the carb. Unfortunately, it looks like the choke flap is stuck, but I am able to open it just enough to get some fuel into the carb. It might take more than one attempt to get it to work, but if it doesn't work after a few times, you'll have to take a different approach. Well, it started and ran and continued to run, however, it didn't sound great. So is it the carb's fault for running like this, or is it the damage to the engine that's causing it? Now we can't say just yet, and that's because the choke flap is stuck, which would make it sound like that. That means for us to better gauge the engine, we probably need to service the carb, but at the same time, we'll give it a quick cleaning as well. Now you don't need to clean anything, but I don't like handling dirty parts mainly because it looks bad on camera. But if I weren't filming this repair, I'd probably only clean the dirtiest parts to help maintain the mower. So what exactly happens if you let the oil level get dangerously low on an engine like this one? Simple, increased wear and tear, and the engine is going to run hot. And when I say hot, I mean way too hot, not just on the outside, but on the inside as well, enough to cause some serious damage. Now because we need to work on the choke system, we have to expose the air vane that works it, which means we need to get down to the engine. Now the air vane itself is not stuck, and it looks like the choke flap in the carb is the problem. And that's because after working it a bit, it finally came free, however, we still need to go through the carb. But while we're here, I do want to take off this plastic cover, that way we can clean and inspect the front transmission. So these covers are here to protect the belt, but they can also trap and collect grass clippings, which could be a problem later on. But before we take off that front cover, we'll do the very same thing to the larger cover that protects the pulleys. The blade has to come off as well, which was something we were going to do anyway because it needs to be sharpened and balanced as well. Now if you have an all-wheel drive mower like this one, I'd recommend that you take off the covers every few years to clean out the grass. But if you've never done it before, then you might find it to be filled with several pounds of grass clippings, not to mention the potential for a few rodents as well. Now shockingly, this one is very clean, so I'm guessing someone cleaned it out not too long ago, probably while replacing the pulleys. For those that don't know, because of the all-wheel drive system on this mower, the system uses 3 idler pulleys. The problem is that these pulleys do not last very long, probably 4 to 5 seasons, depending upon the size of the yard. But what happens sometimes is that these pulleys can get stuck and replacing them is the best option. However, if you follow the link, you can see how to keep these working for a lot longer and saving you a lot of money. Now we did give the mower time to dry off, however you can speed that up by using a leaf blower or some other way. The cleaning also made the paint look even better, so this should make it easier to sell. But if for some reason your paint looks a whole lot worse after the cleaning, I recommend using some car care products to make it look its best. You don't have to do a full detail with polish, but the end results should speak for themselves. Here's a tip, be careful when disconnecting the fuel line from the carb because you could lose quite a bit of fuel from the tank. What I would recommend doing is capturing what you can, that way you don't make a huge mess and you can even reuse it if the fuel is still good. You can try to pinch off the fuel line with some pliers or special tools, however if the fuel line is already damaged, you may do even more damage to it. Also, when taking off that tiny spring for the air vane, be extremely careful because this is very easy to lose, and believe me, this has happened to me more than once. Now you can choose to leave the air vane connected to the carb, however, I like to remove it to make it easier to work with it. After that, we'll then remove the bolts holding the carb in place and then work the carb off the engine and then take it to the table. Now because there was still some fuel in the carb, this will be a bit messy, so keep that in mind. Now that bolt for the bowl is also the main fuel jet, which we'll need to clean here in a bit. Now the fuel in the bowl was quite dirty, but that's because some of the dirt from the outside of the carb made it inside. So here's the reason why taking off the carb is the better choice, and that's because we're able to inspect it better as well. And because of that, we can see that the float, which helps to regulate fuel level, is sitting a bit off. The float should sit level with the surface for the gasket, but instead, this one is resting a bit higher than it should. That means there won't be enough fuel getting into the bowl and could cause the engine to stop after a few minutes of running. The most likely cause for this is a swollen needle seat, which is something that can happen from using the wrong type of fuel. So if we want this carb to work the way it's supposed to, we need to replace that seat with a new one. And if you look in the pocket for the needle, we'll see the red seat at the very bottom, which is where fuel will enter at to fill the bowl. But before we tackle that problem, I want to take this chance to clean the mating surface for the bowl gasket. Making sure it's clean is vital to how the carb works, so it's worth a few minutes of cleaning. So here's my stash of needle seats, and I don't know if you can tell how much of a difference there is in the opening in the middle. But because the opening is so much smaller due to the swelling, it's causing the needle not to sit as far down as it should, and that's why the float is sitting the way it is. And after using a thick screw to take out the old seat, we'll then use the needle to help install a new one into the opening. Now this part is critical in making sure there won't be any leaks from the carb, but I hate to tell you, installing a new seat doesn't always work. For some reason, my success rate doing this repair is about 40%, which means most times the carb ends up leaking. So my advice to most everyone when they find their float sitting the way this one was is to just replace the carb. But if you do choose to do this needle replacement, just be ready for the possibility of further problems which might just end after replacing the carb. So after carefully installing the new seat, you can see that the float is now sitting the way it's supposed to, but we'll have to see if it ends up leaking later on. But before we install the fuel bowl, we need to install a new bowl gasket too. However, make sure you order the right one. There could be more than one size, and if you order the wrong one, the carb may not work or even leak fuel. But if you don't want to risk ordering the wrong one, I think you know what my recommendation is. Now we went through all the trouble of cleaning the mating surface for the bowl gasket, but we should also do the same for the bowl as well. Once the bowl is clean, we'll then carefully place it onto the carb, but before we install the bolt, we need to clean the passages through it. Now this is the main fuel jet, so if any of these passages are clogged, it will keep the carb from working like it should be. So we already cleaned this last time we had this bolt off the carb, however a shot of carb cleaner through the center opening won't hurt. Be careful how much force you use when tightening the bolt. Snug as a bug should be good, otherwise you risk damaging it. So here's the problem. If you bought a single bowl gasket, not to mention a new seat, the total cost would be as much as a new carb. And the only reason why I didn't buy a new carb is because of all the new parts I had on hand, which you probably don't have. Now we know the choke is free to move about, but I would like to make sure that all that varnish is gone from the pocket for the post. And to do that, all we need to do is pull out the flap and then the post and then clean the pocket before putting everything back on. But if you hadn't guessed what caused all this, it was a cascade of problems and most likely boiled down to the fuel that was in the tank. Now leaving fuel in the system is okay, but if it's the wrong kind of fuel, it'll become worse. And if you leave it in there too long, you'll go down even further into the rabbit hole of problems. Now that we're done cleaning the pocket for the post, we'll put it back in, followed by the flap, but just make sure everything is working before moving on. In this case, we want to make sure the flap is positioned so that the choke is closing all the way. This might take some adjustment of the flap before it's able to do that, but this is important to how well the choke works. And the last part of the choke system we need to install is of course the air vane, which is there to bypass the choke as soon as the engine starts running at speed. Just make sure to install it correctly, otherwise it's not going to work and you'll have problems starting the engine or while it's running. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but taking parts off is pretty easy, but putting them back on is harder to do, and that's where mistakes are most likely made. Now if your air vane is not moving smoothly, try cleaning the bolt for it because sometimes corrosion can build up on it. Keep in mind the air vane is not going to work like it should without that spring, however be careful when installing it because it could go flying. So I've heard hundreds of times that this particular choke system is the best there is on the market, and in some ways I totally agree with them. However, as with most all systems that work automatically, some parts of the system will fail at some time. If the spring comes loose, or if the post for the flap gets stuck, or the bolt has too much corrosion on it, the system will fail. It's just a matter of time, care, and the level of abuse before it happens, so don't think it's without its faults. Now for me personally, I like a manual choke system only because I know when I'm using the choke versus letting it decide without knowing it. But the manual choke has its problems too, mainly with the cables, however, I'm okay with it. Now others might say they like the primer bulb style, which does away with the physical choke system, but it too has its drawbacks. The primer bulb relies on a primer circuit that needs to be sealed, and if there is any air leaks in the system, it will cause it to fail. So it's up to you as to which you think is best or what you can deal with, but all need some kind of care to keep them working as they should be. So I'm going to do something a bit strange, and that is, I am going to replace the front plastic cover, but not the larger one under the mowing deck. Now I was going to install it, but I had forgotten to clean it, so I had to leave it aside to let it dry, but to be honest, it's a good thing I did, as you're about to see. Unfortunately, I didn't catch it on camera, but on the test run, I engaged the drive system when it abruptly failed. And what you're looking at are the pieces from the pulleys and the end of the cable for the drive system. So I'm guessing the cable broke as soon as I activated it, but there's another problem. It turns out the engine is stuck and we're not able to start it back up. However, after getting it on the table and looking at it, turns out the belt broke as well and it wrapped itself around the crankshaft. So those plastic pieces seem to have come off the upper pulley and the middle one only suffered minor damage. But it looks like the lower pulley suffered zero damage, which is good news. Now we just need to remove the belt and make sure there's nothing wrong with the engine, otherwise this project stops here. But as you can tell, we can at least still rotate the engine as we turn it to help remove the belt, which is good news. So this is the upper pulley, and as you can see, it's badly broken, probably from the belt coming loose from the system. But you can also see that it's still spinning just like it should. In fact, all the pulleys still work. So what failed? Now luckily it still starts and runs, and even though it runs better than when the choke was stuck, it doesn't run as good as it should. That means I think the engine did get slightly damaged from running out too low on oil. So now comes the debate. What do you think caused all this damage to the drive system, the pulley, the belt, or the cable breaking? I don't think the pulleys are the problem since they still spin, it just looks bad since one of them broke during the failure. But to be honest, I've never had a belt or cable break while using it, so my guess would be one of them. Either way, this is going to cost a lot of money to fix, and I'm not looking forward to it. So my question's pretty easy. What do you think failed on the drive system to cause all this damage? Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate your time here. Please feel free to ask me any questions about this project or about your own projects, and I hope to see you in the next video.